Alright, so it's time for the action, so I'm waiting my opponent to flip that coin flip, and it looks like I'm gonna start first just because I want that coin flip. For me it's very important, just because in case I don't start with the basic for a couple turns, I can simply always have that. Okay, I'm starting with my Tauros. As I spoke about, I can always end my opponent. Okay, so this is gonna be one Ultra Ball. And guess what? This is gonna be Ultra Ball for one Umbreon and one Darkness Energy. Of course, it's gonna be for Eevee, but more than that, I have Super Road, so I can simply play my. Sycamore for 7. Alright, so I'm getting first Espeon GX in play. Do I even want to play Professor Sycamore? Well, let's go with Professor Sycamore. I mean, I have the double Force Energy. It's not the rush for me, actually, in this moment. But let's just do it. Oh, just another Enhanced Hammer. I'm gonna keep that Enhanced Hammer for now, and let's just pass the turn for now. Don't want to set up, really want to see what's gonna be the strategy for my opponent. I don't know if he ran double Course Energies, but I can assume since he had that Xerneas CX that he might have one or two double Course Energies just as a tag, but maybe I'm in wrong. Oh, there's an Enhanced Hammer, so good thing is that I didn't decide to attach my energy to Tauros. Alright, so right now I'm actually gonna pull that DC to my Tauros. I'm gonna Ultra Ball, and guess what? Ultra Ball for Espeon, and we'll grab just another Eevee so I can put it onto my bench before I go with my Shaming for like a 6, and for like 5. Still I can end for 6. Alright, so let's see. They're all weak to the metal, which means I can always have one Jolteon just for the case of the free retreat. And there is one more Trainer's Mail for me, which means I'm gonna grab that Super Road. And of course, with the Super Road, I can recycle 2 Umbreons and 1 Darkness Energy from my discard pile back to my deck. It's gonna be very important. And right now, I can simply end and grab 6 new cards instead of just putting one more Shaming in play. I could even go with that Shaming for extra setup, but for now, let's just keep Horn Attack for 70 and saving those resources maybe for late game, maybe for end or something like that. Alright. So far so good. I mean, if he decides to do some damage counters with a breakthrough to my Tauros GX, that's not going to be the smartest thing in the world, because then I can simply Mad Bull, but even better, I can also use my Rage for like a 90. So there is one Trainer's Mail and a Nest Ball. A Nest Ball is going to be for the Xerneas with the Geomancy. Sparkle Whale. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, any damage done to him is reduced by 30. And then you can simply Wonder Stage for like 110, 120 with the Fighting Fury Belt, of course, if there's any Stadium card in play. But so far, I'm not seeing a single Stadium. And of course, my opponent will probably win me in this Stadium War, because I'm running just a single one, but I can always Delinquent him, so really don't need to worry too much. And this is going to be another Xerneas and a Nest Ball, so I really need to be cautious about those Xerneas breaks. They can be pretty badass, since they can strike for 20 for each energy in play. Of course, I can always use the advantage of my... Umbreon GX. Dark Cold GX, of course, speaking about that. So let's just play one Ultra Ball here. Let's grab first Umbreon in play. Yeah, I simply cannot strike for the weakness because none of my Pokemons are actually metal Pokemons. But what I can do in this situation, I can just simply afford my opponent Escape Rope, but I don't feel comfortable doing that, so I'm just gonna refresh my hand a little bit, maybe try to get a couple energy cards so I can attach them, but looks like I'm not gonna find any of them. So what I can do is simply Special Charge. That's even not fair to do at this moment. Maybe time for another Tauros on the bench. Yeah, why not? one Psy Energy to my Espeon just because I can do that, and I'm gonna strike with my Horn attack for 70 more. Alright, so 70 more damage. Oh, there's one Fairy Drop. There we go. So, speaking about that, and a Xerneas break. Okay, and a Fighting Fairy Belt for another Diancie. So overall, there's one double course energy right now. He can just wander stage, strike me for like 120. If he decides to do that, of course, I'm just gonna respawn back either way with my rage for 150, but that's not enough for the knockout. So there's an enhanced hammer, and of course, I'm gonna go with my Mad Bull GX. And there's also Xerneas break, which means he can't get energy from his hand manually this turn to his Xerneas, but he can simply Geomancy for a couple more energies. I'm just gonna strike with my. I'm gonna just use my special charge in this situation, and I'm gonna Sycamore for 7. So I simply need to get maybe even, I don't know, a Trainer's Mail as a top deck for a Fighting Fury Belt, which I can always grab because it's a pretty good card, especially for my Tauros. It can actually help him to survive more damage counters. And that's very important, so let's just play one Professor Sycamore for 7, and I don't see a double course energy, which means I see a trouble here. What I see is just a single Darkness energy card, so I'm thinking about passing my turn. Probably I'm gonna use my Pearl City and limit my opponent bench space to 3 if he decides to put one more Pokemon in play. So far he have like 7 energies, but this is 20 for each energy attached to all of your Pokemon, so double cores will mean 2 energies. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, actually it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 160 at this moment. So 160 damage counters for my opponent. I'm still more than good. Oh, right now it's 200, so there we go with 1N. Right now it's 200. Which means I simply need to get my Enhanced Hammer, so that Enhanced Hammer can help me a little bit. There is also Wide Lens. I simply can't strike nothing on my opponent bench for the knockout. However, there is a Xerneas break and Geomancy. Wow, that's actually kind of interesting. 1 energy, and that's just it. Okay, since that's it, I'm gonna use my Enhanced Hammer, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 180. That's 180. What I can do here is I can play my Escape Rope just to see what my opponent will promote in the active position, because I can use the advantage of my Dark Hole GX and disable 2 more of his attackers in play, just assuming that he might not have resources to recycle those energies back. Not sure how smart that would be, but still. Time to switch, actually retreat. Time to use that Dark Gold GX. So I'm gonna discard. Yeah, that's tricky right now. 1 Fairy Energy from here, 1 Double Core's Energy from here, so that can be less damage counters that he can actually strike. Okay, so all of his Pokemons right now are unable to attack, so 3 Double Core's Energies in my opponent discard pile, which means that I can even win this game without knocking out a single Pokemon from my opponent. Play. But there is another Fairy Energy, which means right now he can simply switch and strike with his Live Stream, which is gonna be Powerful Attack at this moment. And there's also 1 Fairy Drop, which is not a big deal. I can go for like 120 with my Psychics. What I'm actually gonna do here is I'm gonna V-Seeker for my Olympia, of course. And I'm just gonna Olympia into my Espeon, so I can simply confuse his Xerneas. Do I want to attach my energy card? Yeah, the answer is gonna be yes. So let's just use the Psy beam, so his Xerneas is confused right now. Of course, if he wants to escape from the confused, he can simply retreat. Fairy Drop can only heal the damage counters, so that's not going to be good for him. On the other side, I'm seeing a Nest Ball. If there's going to be another basic Pokemon, it's definitely going to be a time for me to use the advantage of my Pearl City, but I don't see it. So he just decides to quit. As you can see, even without taking a single prize, I managed to win my opponent because he simply ran out of the resources, and probably next turn his Xerneas would be knocked out anyway, so that's a GG because he wouldn't have another attacker for use.